Hey guys, it's Anna. I know that a lot of you guys are taking the ACT this Saturday, the day after tomorrow. So I wanted to do a full live ACT science walkthrough with you guys to show you some of the strategies that I use. Let's get right into it. I'm going to jump on and share my screen. This is going to be coming from the 2015-2016 ACT practice test that the ACT has made publicly available. So let me just share my screen right here. Oh, fantastic. All right, excellent. Okay, here we are. So, in order to be successful on the ACT science section, you do not want to read the passages. You want to jump straight down to the questions. So, I'm going to jump straight down to the questions here. I'm going to grab first question number one. First thing you're going to do is simplify the question by splitting it up into pieces. So, normally you would take your pencil and make little marks after each piece. I'm just going to read it slowly to break it up. In which of study 1 and 2 did some of the fruit flies lived for more than 75 days, and what diet were those fruit flies fed? So the next step is to organize the answer choices into categories. So you're going to see that we have study 1 or study 2 and 5% SY medium or 15% SY medium. Now, what the heck is SY medium? We don't know and we don't care. It does not matter. So now we're going to reread the question again. In which of studies 1 and 2 did some of the fruit flies live for more than 75 days, and what diet were those fruit flies fed? Now, the next step is to just take one piece of the question to go check for in the charts and graphs first. So let's just go find study 1. Found study 1, it's right here. And then let's go back to the question. They want to know, did some of the fruit flies live for more than 75 days? Well, did any of them live for more than 75 days? Here's the days and percent alive. At day 75, what percent is alive? 0. So we know it cannot be study 1. A and B are gone. So now we know it has to be study 2, and it's either 5% SY medium or 15% SY medium. So let's go check if any live for more than 75 days in study 2. Over here, let's check the percent alive and the days. Anybody alive for more than 75 days? Yes, the white circle, and that's going to be 5% SY medium. This is, of course, study 2. And right here, C is our answer. Study 2, 5% SY medium. So to recap this process, what I just did, I like to use the mnemonic device SORTS, SORTS. So simplify the question by breaking it up into smaller pieces, organize the answer choices into categories, reread the question, take just one piece of the question to check for in the charts and graphs first, and then in the paragraph if necessary. And then S, strike out unreasonable answer choices. So simplify, organize, reread, take just one piece, and then strike out. Awesome. Let's go on to the next one. So during studies 1 and 2, why did the size of the fruit fly population in each tube decrease rather than increase? So why did the population decrease? Now, what's happening if a population is decreasing? That means they're dying off, right? Population is decreasing, they're dying off. So now let's organize the answer choices into categories. We have birth rate is 0. We have death rate is 0. And then we have males and virgin females. So because they want to know why the population decreased, if the population is decreasing, they're dying. So what cannot be 0? The death rate cannot be 0 because the population is decreasing. If the death rate was 0, the population could stay the same or go up, but it could never go down if the death rate was 0, right? So it cannot be H, it cannot be J. What's the only difference between F and G? Males and females, right? That's the only thing we have to check for. During study 1 and 2, why did the size of the fruit fly population in each tube decrease rather than increase? Let's check if it's male or female. Does not say anything on the graphs. What about study 1? Anything about male and female? There it is, virgin female and virgin female. The right answer is which one? G. You got it. Very good. Okay, question 3. Do it with me. Study 1 differed from study 2 in which of the following ways? Just want to know how they're different. Look what we have here. Female fruit flies tested in study 1. Male fruit flies. What do we already know? There are no male fruit flies. Toss out A. What about B? Right off the bat, male fruit flies. We already figured out they're both females only, right? So A and B are both on. Now, what is the only difference between C and D? The SY medium tested in study 1 contained a lower percent of sugar than did the SY medium tested in study 2. SY medium tested in study 1 contained a higher percentage of sugar than the SY medium tested in study 2. So which one has a higher percent of SY medium? Funny enough, they tell us that's why medium percentages are right here. Which one's higher? Study 1 or study 2? Study 1, 15%. So our answer is D. The SY medium tested in study 1 contained a higher percent of the sugar than did the SY medium tested in study 2. Perfect. So we can even see 15% sugar, 15% killed yeast, 5% sugar, 5% killed yeast. So it is study 1. Awesome. All right, now we're ready for question 4. Suppose that an additional trial in study 3 had been performed using a 12% SY medium, a diet with 12% sugar and 12% killed yeast. The average lifespan of the strain X fruit flies in this trial would most likely have been what? Okay, so we got study 3. Here's study 3. And we see that there's just a range down here, 55 through 61. So now we're going to read it again. Suppose an additional trial in study 3 had been performed using 12% SY medium. The average lifespan would have been what? So study 3 right here. Then they want strain X. Here's strain X. They want the average lifespan. Here's the average lifespan. And they want a 12% SY medium. Now, we don't have 12% here, but that's fine. We can make an estimate. 12 is going to be between 10 and 15, right? So here it is. It's between 55.6 and 58.6. G is our answer. Question 5. The researchers had predicted that decreasing a fruit fly's ability to detect odors would increase its lifespan. Are the results of study 3 consistent with this prediction? So we have no and yes. And then we have strain X lives longer or strain N lives longer. Well, we already see over here, strain N lives between 41 and 50 days. And then strain X lives between 55 and 61 days. Strain X lives longer always. So we can cross out the ones that say strain N lives longer. So not B and not D. So either A or C, either yes or no. They want a defect in the ability to detect odors. Which strain is that? They'll have to tell us. It says strain N fruit flies were modified to produce strain X fruit flies. Strain X fruit flies lack OR83B, a protein required to detect odors. Therefore, they cannot detect many odors. So X cannot detect many odors. So does decreasing a fruit fly's ability to detect odors increase its lifespan? Yes, because strain X cannot detect many odors and they do in fact live longer. The correct answer is C. Up next on question 6, suppose researchers wanted to determine whether a defect in the ability to detect odors, who has a defect in the ability to detect odors, strain X, would change the lifespan of fruit flies fed 15% SY medium when live yeast is added to the diet or when additional odors from live yeast are added to the diet. Which of the following experiments should be performed? Who has the ability to detect odors? Strain X. So cross out strain N. Which one has 15% SY medium? Study 1 or study 2? Study 1. There you have it. And the answer is study 1 with strain X, F. And the results for which two tubes should be compared to determine how a reduced calorie diet affects lifespan in the absence of live yeast and additional odors from live yeast. Okay, so they want absence of, no live yeast, no additional odors. No additional substance was added to tube 1. Additional odors from live yeast were added to tube 2. Live yeast was added to tube 3. It's only going to be, we don't want live yeast or additional odors, so it's not 2 or 3. Let's cross out B and C. They both have tube 2. We're just checking 1 and 4 or 5 and 6. No additional substance was added to tube 4. Additional odors from live yeast were added to tube 5. Live yeast was added to tube 6. We want the absence of live yeast, absence of additional odors. It's going to be 1 and 4. A is our answer. Awesome. All right. So there you have it, folks. I hope you really enjoyed this walkthrough of ACT Science. Again, to recap, the sorts method: simplify the question by breaking it into smaller pieces, organize the answer choices into categories, reread the question, take just one piece of the question to check for at a time, and then strike out any unreasonable answer choices. After every single thing that you observe from the passage, go down and strike them out. And then ask, what is the only difference between the remaining answer choices that I have left? Now, bear in mind, a lot of these questions will require you to make a reasonable estimate. You should not expect everything to be stated like word for word. Just like we had to estimate, we had to find 12 in between 10 and 15. The ACT does require estimation. Estimation is not guessing. Estimation's good and it is required. Another expert tip is you can bring an old-fashioned wristwatch and reset it to 12 noon at the start of every module, like at the start of the science module, reset it to 12 noon. Then you'll know that Like you'll see that you started at 12 noon, so you'll know exactly how much time has passed at the end of each passage and question set. You have about 5 minutes per passage and question set. If there end up being 6 passages, which there usually are, you have 5 minutes and 45 seconds on each passage and question set. And if you end up having 7 passages, as some of the older tests did, it would be just 5 minutes each. But generally, it's 6 passages, 5 minutes and 45 seconds each. Please let me know if you found this helpful. If you'd like to see me do a walkthrough of some other strategies on the different sections at the last minute, good luck on your test this weekend.